The rain hammered the windshield like accusations, each drop a reminder of the homecoming Alex never wanted. He gripped the steering wheel of the rented Chevy, knuckles white, as the GPS chimed, arriving at St. Mary's Episcopal Church, Boston. But this wasn't a reunion, it was an execution. His own. The obituary had gone viral in their elite circles. Alexander Harrington, beloved son, taken too soon by a tragic accident. Lies all of it. His family hadn't killed his body. They'd buried his soul years ago, the moment he whispered "I'm gay" at the dinner table. Now they were staging the final act. Alex killed the engine, heart thundering louder than the storm. He stepped out into the downpour, black umbrella blooming like a shield. The church loomed ahead, its spire piercing the gray sky, a monument to hypocrisy. Inside, his loved ones mourned a ghost. He was about to make it real. The scent of wet earth and funeral lilies hit Alex like a gut punch as he slipped through the side door, dripping onto the marble floor. The chapel was a sea of black suits and veiled hats, whispers rippling like wine through the stained glass saints. Up front, his mother, Evelyn Harrington, dabbed at her eyes with a lace handkerchief, her pearls gleaming under the chandelier's mournful light. Beside her sat his father, Reginald, stone-faced, the kind of man who built empires on Wall Street by crushing dreams like they were bad stocks. And there, in the front pew, was his sister Lydia, the golden child, the one who'd promised to fight for him, now clutching a eulogy she'd never deliver for the real him. Alex lingered in the shadows of the vestibule, pulse racing. It had been 3 years since that night in their Beacon Hill brownstone. 3 years since the crystal vase shattered against the wall, his father's roar echoing, "You're no son of mine." Evelyn's silence had been the blade, twisting slow. Lydia's tears? Just salt in the wound. They'd cut him off, no calls, no funds, no existence. He'd vanished into the underbelly of Boston, couch surfing in Somerville dives, bartending at a dive bar called the Rusty Anchor where the drag queens called him Sunshine for his forced smiles. But survival had forged him. And love? That had been the spark. Jordan. God, Jordan. The memory bloomed warm in his chest, cutting through the chill. They'd met on a rooftop party in Cambridge, one of those humid July nights where the Charles River glittered like spilled champagne. Alex had been nursing a cheap beer, staring at the skyline, when a voice cut through the bass thump. "You look like you're plotting a heist on the stars." He turned, and there was Jordan, tall, with sun-kissed skin from summers in LA, curly black hair falling over hazel eyes that held mischief and something deeper, like he'd seen storms and still believed in rainbows. A grad student in environmental law at Harvard, Jordan was the kind of guy who quoted Whitman while fixing your bike chain. They'd talked until dawn, feet dangling over the edge, sharing stories of hidden selves. Alex confessed his exile over stolen kisses. Jordan admitted his own scars from a Bible Belt upbringing. From there, it snowballed. Lazy Sundays in Jordan's cramped Alston apartment, pancakes burning while they laughed about nothing. Road trips up the coast to Gloucester, where they'd walk the rocky beaches, hands brushing until they dared to intertwine. Jordan's touch was electric, gentle fingers tracing Alex's jaw, lips that promised you're enough. For the first time, Alex felt seen, not as the Harrington heir who'd failed the family script, but as himself, flawed, fierce, alive. Yet doubt gnawed at the edges. Jordan's phone buzzed too often with calls from old friends in D.C. Lobbyists, he said, scouting for green energy gigs. Alex pushed it down, chalking it up to paranoia. Love like this didn't come with footnotes. Or so he told himself. Now, hiding behind a pillar, Alex watched the service unfold like a bad play. The organ swelled with amazing grace, and Lydia rose to the podium, her voice cracking on cue. Alex was the light of our family, taken from us too soon, but his memory will. He couldn't breathe. The lie coiled in his throat, hot and venomous. He stepped forward, umbrella clattering to the floor. Heads turned, a murmur swelling like a wave. Evelyn gasped, hand fluttering to her chest. Reginald's eyes narrowed, recognition flickering to fury. Memory? Alex's voice echoed, raw and unbroken. He strode down the aisle, water pooling in his wake. I'm right here, Mother. Flesh and blood. Not your convenient ghost. The chapel froze. Lydia's paper slipped from her fingers, eulogy fluttering like a dying bird. Whispers erupted. Is that? No, impossible. An aunt clutched her rosary. A cousin gawked, phone half raised for a scandalous snap. Reginald surged to his feet, face purpling. What the hell is this? Security. Two ushers lumbered forward, but Alex held up a hand, envelope clutched in his fist. It was the truth he'd carried for months, documents, emails, the kind of dirt that could topple dynasties. Before you throw me out again, Father, hear this. I'm not here to beg. I'm here to bury your secrets with your lies. Evelyn's eyes widened, a flicker of the woman who'd once sung him lullabies. Alex, darling, we thought. You made me dead. He cut in, voice steady despite the tremor in his legs. But I'm rising, and you're all coming down with me. The rain outside pounded harder, as if the heavens approved. Alex's gaze swept the room, landing on the empty casket at the altar, draped in Harrington crest, a symbol of their erasure. He approached it, placing the envelope atop the silk lining. Not a body but a bomb. His bomb. As chaos bloomed, shouts, sobs, flashes from illicit cameras. Alex felt Jordan's absence like a phantom limb. Where was he? The one who'd urged him to come, to face the fire? The man who'd whispered, we'll do this together last night over takeout Thai. Their last meal before the drive. But Jordan's phone had gone to voicemail since dawn. A knot twisted in Alex's gut. Not now, he thought, steeling himself. The family closed in, a wall of judgment. This was just the opening act. The real storm was breaking. Reginald snatched the envelope, ripping it open with trembling hands. His face drained of color as he scanned the pages. Bank records, forged signatures, the offshore accounts siphoning family funds to cover his mistress's silence. Alex had found it all, piecing together the puzzle from a hacker friend at the bar, the one who'd owed him for covering shifts. You little, Reginald hissed, crumpling the paper. This is blackmail. It's justice, Alex shot back. You declared me dead for loving who I love. Now face what you've done to everyone else. Lydia reached for him, tears real this time. Alex, please. We were wrong. Come home. Home. The word tasted like ash. He'd built a new one with Jordan, in late-night confessions, in the way Jordan's laugh filled silences. But as sirens wailed distant, cops, no doubt, summoned by some uncle's panic, Alex wondered if that home was crumbling too. He backed toward the door, the congregation a blur of outrage and pity. Tell the truth in your toasts, he called, voice carrying like a vow. Or I'll tell it for you. Outside, the rain washed his face clean. He fumbled for his phone. No signal, storm's fault or fate's. Jordan's face lit the screen. A selfie from their Provincetown getaway. Windswept and grinning. Call me, Alex texted into the void. I need you. The Chevy's engine roared to life, carrying him into the neon-veined night. Boston's streets slicked with secrets, mirroring his own. He'd crashed the funeral, detonated the lie. But the fallout? That was just beginning. And somewhere, in the shadows of that reckoning, betrayal waited like a lover's ghost. The fluorescent buzz of the rusty anchor's back office felt like a hangover Alex couldn't shake. He'd driven straight from the church to his old haunt, the one place in this city that still felt like neutral ground. Mick, the grizzled owner with a tattooed forearm reading Live Free or Die, slid a whiskey across the scarred desk without a word. Heard about the circus? Mick grunted, jerking his chin at the muted TV in the corner. Local news looping footage of the Harrington air hoax. Alex downed the shot, fire blooming in his chest. Not a hoax, just overdue truth. Mick chuckled, low and gravelly. Boy, you got balls. But families like bad whiskey, burns going down, haunts you after. He nodded, mind replaying the chapel pandemonium. Reginald's threats had escalated post-service. Voicemails from unknown numbers, leave town or regret it. Evelyn's call had been softer, laced with we can fix this. Come to the house. Lydia's texts. A barrage, he's destroying everything. Help me stop him. No mention of sorry. Just strategy. But Jordan, crickets. 24 hours and nothing. Alex's apartment in Alston was a tomb of unanswered echoes. Jordan's sneakers by the door. His law books stacked like forgotten promises. They'd planned this confrontation together, mapping it out over coffee-fueled nights. Jordan's idea. The envelope, the dramatic entrance. Hit him where it hurts, he'd said, eyes fierce. Make them see you. Now, alone in the dim light, doubt crept in like fog off the harbor. Was Jordan ghosting him? Or worse? A buzz jolted him, his phone finally. Unknown number. Heart slamming, he answered. Hello, Alex? It's me. Jordan's voice, strained, like he'd run a marathon. I'm sorry. Things got complicated. Complicated. Alex paced the tiny office, knocking over a stack of napkins. I just walked into my own goddamn funeral, dropped a truth bomb on my family, and you're complicated? Where are you? Pause heavy as lead. DC. Had to fly out last minute. Job interview, remember? The one with the EPA lobby firm. Alex's grip tightened. You said it was next week. And you promised you'd be here. I know. Flight got bumped up. Tried calling, but the storm. Look, you were brilliant. I saw the clip online. Proud as hell. Proud. The word landed hollow. I needed you, Jordan. Not a text. Not a video. Silence stretched, broken by distant traffic. DC's hum, not Boston's snarl. I'm coming back tomorrow. We can talk then. I love you, Alex. This changes nothing. Love. It used to anchor him. Now it felt like a lifeline fraying. Yeah, tomorrow. He hung up, the whiskey's warmth turning sour. The bar was quiet mid-afternoon, just a couple of regulars nursing drafts. Alex slipped behind the counter, pouring himself into the rhythm. Wiping glasses, mixing Manhattans, trading barbs with Tina, the queen who ruled Friday nights as Duchess Divine. She clocked his vibe immediately, her sequined nails tapping the wood. Spill, sunshine. You look like someone stole your spotlight. He leaned in, voice low. Family funeral. Crashed it. Dropped some family dirt. And my boyfriend? MIA in DC. Feeding me excuses. Tina's eyes narrowed, mascara wings sharp as daggers. MIA or MI? Honey. Men like that. Fancy degrees, big city dreams. They shine bright till the bulb burns out on you. Alex forced a laugh, but it stuck. Jordan wasn't like that. Was he? Their love had been a rebellion. Stolen weekends in the White Mountains, where they'd hike until exhausted, collapsing into each other's arms under star-pricked skies. Jordan's stories of escaping Alabama's suffocating pews mirrored Alex's own cage. They'd vowed to build something unbreakable. A life beyond the Harrington shadow, maybe a little place in Portland, Maine with a garden and adopted mutts. But lately, the calls. The late nights working. A cologne scent on his jacket Alex didn't recognize. Crisp, expensive, not Jordan's earthy patchouli. By closing time, exhaustion clawed at him. He trudged home through Back Bay's gaslit streets, the Charles a black ribbon under sodium lamps. His building loomed, a converted mill with exposed brick and dreams deferred. Up the stairs, key and lock, and there on the threshold stood Lydia. She looked wrecked, hair limp, mascara tracks carving her cheeks. Alex, please. He blocked the door, arms crossed. What, here to finish the eulogy? Her laugh was bitter, a sound he'd never heard from perfect Lydia. I deserve that. God, I do. Can I come in? 5 minutes. Against his better judgment, he stepped aside. The apartment smelled of Jordan's abandoned coffee, stale, accusatory. Lydia sank onto the couch, clutching her purse like a shield. They're falling apart. Dad's lawyered up, threatening countersuits. Mom's popping pills like candy. And me? I'm the one holding the pieces. Poor you, Alex said, not unkindly. He poured her water, sat across in the armchair. Why now? 3 years of radio silence. And suddenly I'm worth a house call. She met his eyes, raw. I was scared. Of him. Of losing everything. But seeing you today, you were so brave. And I wasn't. I'm sorry, Alex. For everything. The apology hung, fragile. He wanted to hate her. But the girl who'd shared secrets under blanket forts was still there. Cracked but real. It's not just about sorry, LYD. You let them erase me. Tears spilled. I know. But fight with me now? Against him? The accounts you exposed, they're just the tip. There's more. Embezzlement from the firm, payoffs to cover his indiscretions. Alex's stomach dropped. Indiscretions? As in. Not like you think. Women. Affairs. But it's rotten, all of it. Help me expose the rest. For Mom. For us. The word tugged. A thread to the past. He thought of Jordan's promise, the life they planned. If he dove back in, would it swallow him whole? Or redeem him? Before he could answer, his phone lit. Jordan finally. FaceTime. Lydia glanced away as Alex answered, Jordan's face filling the screen. Tired eyes, rumpled shirt, DC skyline behind him. Hey, Jordan said soft. Miss you. Something's wrong, Alex said flatly. Tell me. Jordan hesitated. Then, the job is big. They want me full-time, starting next month. And, aside, it's in DC. Permanent. The room tilted. Lydia's presence faded. The world narrowed to Jordan's pixelated regret. You knew. When you left. No. I mean, it's an opportunity. For us. Better money, stability. We could. Move. Alex's voice cracked. Leave Boston? The bar? My life here. Jordan leaned closer. Earnest. Our life. Think about it. No more scraping by. A fresh start. But it wasn't fresh. It was flight. From the mess Alex had just ignited. Betrayal. Sharp as glass. Jordan. Bailing when the fire got hot. I can't. Alex whispered. Not now. The call ended in static. Lydia's hand on his shoulder was tentative. You okay? No. But as she outlined the plan, whistleblowing, lawyers, a path to dismantle Reginald's empire, Alex felt a spark. Not love's warmth, but justice's burn. By dawn, they'd mapped it. Allies in the DA's office, a journalist friend of Lydia's at the Globe. Jordan's texts piled up. Talk to me, unread. The betrayal stung, but it freed him. For the first time, Alex wasn't running. He was charging. Outside, the sun cracked the clouds, gilding the river gold. Boston woke, oblivious. But Alex, he was alive. Fiercer, fractured, ready for war. Yet in the quiet, a deeper ache pulsed. Love lost wasn't just pain. It was a mirror, reflecting the voids his family had carved. Could he fill them alone? Or would the fight hollow him further? As sirens wailed anew, news of Reginald's arrest leaking early, Alex stepped into the light. The climax loomed, a storm of his making. And in its eye, perhaps redemption. Or ruin. The Harrington scandal exploded like 4th of July fireworks over Boston Harbor. Brilliant, blinding, leaving scorch marks on everyone. By week's end, Reginald was in cuffs, paraded before cameras in his monogrammed pajamas. The Globe's headline screaming, Wall Street Titan falls. Embezzlement, affairs, and a son's revenge. Evelyn retreated to their Nantucket summer home, a ghost in silk robes, issuing statements through lawyers. Lydia became the reluctant face. Press conferences in tailored suits, her voice steady as she detailed the family's path to healing. Alex, he was the phantom at the feast. Reporters camped outside his building, but he dodged them, holing up at the rusty anchor's apartment above the bar. Mick enforced a no journalists rule with a baseball bat propped by the door. Tina kept the whiskey flowing, her drag wisdom a balm. Darlin', truth's a double-edged sword, cuts deep, but carves you pretty. Nights blurred into strategy sessions with Lydia. They'd uncovered more. Shell companies funneling cash to anti-LGBTQ+ PACs. Irony's cruelest twist? Reginald bankrolling the hate that had exiled his son. Lydia's fury matched Alex's. For the first time, they were allies, siblings in scars. We end this, she vowed over takeout burritos, high-fiving like kids plotting treehouse raids. But Jordan's shadow loomed largest. He'd returned to Boston 2 days post-call, suitcase in hand, eyes pleading on the stoop. "Hear me out," he'd begged. Rain slicked like their first meeting. Alex had let him in, the air thick with unsaid fractures. They talked or tried. Jordan paced the living room, words tumbling. The job's prestige, the salary that could fund dreams. A down payment on that Portland house. Adoptions fast-tracked. "It's not running, Alex. It's building. For us." The pronoun mocked. "You left me at the altar," Alex said, voice low. "My funeral, Jordan. And you chose a flight." Jordan stopped, face crumpling. "I panicked. Your family's poison. I saw what they did to you. Didn't want them touching us." "By abandoning me?" Alex's laugh was hollow. "That's not protection. That's fear." The fight escalated, words as weapons. Jordan accusing Alex of clinging to vendettas. Alex hurling Jordan's evasions like grenades. In the heat, truth slipped. Jordan's old friends weren't lobbyists. They were exes, pulling strings for the DC gig. A final betrayal. He'd interviewed without telling Alex, testing waters while Alex burned bridges. "You were my escape," Jordan admitted, defeated. "But this fight? It's yours. I can't drown in it." By morning, Jordan was gone. Note on the counter. "I love you enough to let go. Be free." Alex crumpled it, chest caving. Love twisted into release. Was it mercy or the deepest cut? The climax built relentlessly. Reginald's trial loomed, set for Suffolk Superior Court. A coliseum of mahogany benches and flashing lenses. Lydia and Alex prepped as co-witnesses. Their testimony a 1-2 punch. Her on the finances, him on the personal toll. Evelyn reached out through back channels. A letter delivered by courier. "My dearest boy, I failed you. But in this pain, perhaps grace. Meet me?" He did. In a quiet cafe off Newbury Street, neutral ground, croissants untouched. Evelyn looked frail, silver streaks threading her chignon, eyes red-rimmed. "I thought denial would protect us," she confessed, voice a whisper. "From scandal. From him. But it destroyed you." Alex's throat tightened. "You chose him over me." She nodded, tears carving paths. "Cowardice. But seeing you stand. You've become the man I always knew you were. Forgive me?" The word dangled, heavy. He thought of Jordan's note, the freedom it offered. Forgiveness wasn't absolution. It was choice. "Not yet," he said gently. "But maybe. Start by testifying. Truth for truth." She squeezed his hand, a bridge tentative. As she left, the cafe's bell tinkled like hope. Trial day dawned crisp. Autumn leaves carpeting the courthouse steps in crimson defiance. Alex suited up, charcoal wool, tie Jordan had picked, a ghost's touch. Lydia met him at the entrance, arm linked. "Ready." Inside, the gallery buzzed. Reporters, distant relatives, activists waving rainbow flags. Reginald sat cuffed at the defense table, glare venomous. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with salt and pepper hair, called order. Lydia went first, voice unwavering. Ledgers, transfers, the web of deceit. Gasps rippled as she named the packs. Millions funneled to hate while the family preached charity at galas. Then Alex's turn. He approached the stand, oath sworn, eyes locking on Reginald's. "My father didn't just steal money," he began, steady. "He stole lives. Mine first." The room hushed. He recounted the dinner, the disownment, the death declared in whispers and wills rewritten. "They held a funeral for the son they couldn't accept. But I survived. On streets, in shadows, loved by someone brave enough to see me." Murmurs swelled. "Who?" But Alex pressed on, detailing the hypocrisy. The affairs, the bribes, the hate-mongering funded by the same hands that built their name. "He taught me silence kills slower than bullets. So I'm speaking." Reginald's lawyer objected, irrelevant. But the judge overruled, her gavel a thunderclap. Cross-examination was brutal. Weren't you the prodigal, seeking revenge? Alex met it head-on. Revenge? No. Reckoning. As he stepped down, Evelyn rose from the back, approaching the bench unbidden. Gasps echoed. "Your Honor," she said, voice clear. "I wish to testify. For my son." The courtroom erupted, cameras flashing, bailiffs tensing. Reginald lunged, roaring, but cuffs held him. Evelyn took the stand, unraveling the rest. Years of abuse masked as ambition, her complicity born of fear. "I buried my boy to save myself. No more." Tears streamed, hers and the gallery's. Alex watched, chest aching, a dam breaking. Justice, raw and redemptive. But outside, as verdict loomed. Guilty on all counts, sentencing in weeks. A figure waited on the steps. Jordan, hands in pockets, expression unreadable. "Couldn't stay away," he said, half-smile tentative. Alex halted, wind whipping leaves around them. "Why?" "To say goodbye. Properly." Jordan stepped closer, eyes soft. "You were right. I ran. But watching you, you're unstoppable. Deserve someone who matches that fire." The word stung, but truth rang. No pleas, no promises, just release. They embraced, brief and bittersweet. Jordan's cologne faint now, memories echo. "Take care of yourself," Alex murmured. "You too, Harrington." Jordan walked away, silhouette fading into the crowd. Alone, Alex breathed deep, the air crisp with change. Lydia joined him, Evelyn trailing tentative. "Dinner?" Lydia asked. "All of us." He nodded, the trio linking arms. Not whole, but healing. The city pulsed around them, alive with possibility. Yet in the quiet core, emotion churned. Loss of Jordan a hollow, but the family's fracture mending into something human. Betrayal had scarred, but forged resilience. The storm passed. Sunlight slanted golden. One chapter closed. Another beckoned, not perfect, but profoundly his. Winter settled over Boston like a hush, snow veiling the scars of autumn's fury. Reginald's sentencing had been swift. 20 years, no parole, his empire auctioned to pay restitution. The Harrington name, once synonymous with old money and older secrets, became a cautionary tale in society pages. From pedigree to penitentiary. Evelyn sold the brownstone, donating proceeds to LGBTQ plus youth shelters. A quiet atonement. Her therapy sessions with Alex tentative bridges over chasms. Lydia thrived in the wreckage, launching a nonprofit for financial transparency in family firms, her TED Talk going viral. The cost of inherited lies. She and Alex fell into a rhythm. Sunday brunches at Legal Seafoods, dissecting case files over lobster rolls, laughter edging out the old awkwardness. "You're the hero of this mess," she'd tease, clinking glasses. He'd shrug. "Nah, just the survivor." But survival's edge dulled without Jordan. Months blurred. The apartment echoed with ghosts. His laugh in the shower's steam, the dent from his guitar case. Alex dated sporadically. A barista with tattoos and easy grins. A professor whose intellect sparked but fizzled. None stuck. Love, he'd learned, wasn't a bandage. It was bone deep, requiring time to knit. Spring thawed the Charles, dogwoods blooming defiant along the esplanade. Alex walked it often, Jordan's old route, feeding ducks stale bread from the bakery. One April afternoon, phone in hand, he scrolled old photos. Provincetown dunes, their hands laced against the tide. A text pinged, "Thinking of you. Portland's calling, solo trip?" J. Heart stutter. Jordan, post-DC, had carved his path. Junior counsel at a green firm, articles in The Atlantic on climate justice. They'd exchanged holiday cards, neutral as winter wind. "This? An olive branch or trap?" He replied, "Maybe. Truth first?" Meetup set, neutral turf. A cafe in Cambridge near the old rooftop. Jordan arrived early, curls tamed, button-down crisp, successful, settled. They hugged awkward, coffee steaming between. "You look good," Jordan said, eyes tracing Alex's face. "Stronger. Therapy and spite?" Alex quipped. stirring sugar he didn't need. You? Same. DC's a grind, but freeing. Pause. Heard about the shelter donation. Mom's doing. Evelyn. Their sessions had deepened. Her confessing the loneliness of a loveless marriage. Him forgiving in fragments. Healing, Alex said. Slowly. Talk flowed. Work, travels, the absurd. Like Reginald's prison letters. Rambling defenses Alex burned unread. Laughter crept in, tentative, then true. Jordan's hazel eyes held no evasion now. Just quiet ache. Why now? Alex asked, direct. Jordan leaned forward. Missed you. Not the drama, the you who faces storms. I was scared, Alex, of losing myself in your fight. But running, lost me anyway. Vulnerability, raw. Alex's walls trembled. I get it. Betrayal cut deep. But I don't regret us. Me neither. Jordan's hand brushed the table, inches from Alex's. Portland, then? No strings. Just see. The offer hung, romantic in simplicity. A road trip, echoes of their youth. Alex nodded, pulse quickening. Not a sequel, but a coda. Possibility, not promise. Summer arrived in waves of heat. The Chevy loaded for Maine. They drove with windows down, Springsteen blasting, stopping for clams in Portsmouth. Detours to lighthouses where waves crashed like applause. Portland welcomed. Cobblestone streets, craft breweries humming. The harbor alive with sails. Their rental overlooked Casco Bay. A weathered cottage with creaky porch, hammock swaying. Evenings blurred. Bonfires on the beach, Jordan's stories of DC battles. Alex's tales of the anchor's chaos. Kisses came slow, salty, sunset-kissed. Hands rediscovering paths once memorized. No rush, no reclamation. Just presence, tender and true. One dawn, fog rolling in. They walked the shore, barefoot in the surf. What now? Jordan asked, toes curling in wet sand. Alex gazed at the horizon, infinite blue. We build. Slowly. You, me, whatever this is. Jordan smiled, pulling him close. Deal. Back in Boston, life wove forward. Alex quit the bar, joining Lydia's nonprofit as outreach director. Speaking at high schools, sharing his story to shatter silences. Evelyn attended his first event, front row, applause mingling with tears. Proud, she mouthed. He believed her. Jordan split time, weekends northbound, their Portland dream inching real. A realtor's listing bookmarked, but named Scout adopted on impulse. Conflicts arose. Jordan's long hours, Alex's triggers from trial echoes. But they talked, raw and real, therapy a shared language. Fall painted the foliage fire, a year since the funeral farce. At St. Mary's, a fundraiser now, rainbows in the windows. Alex spoke to a crowd of survivors. Lydia emceed. Evelyn volunteered punch. Jordan sat beside her, hand in Alex's under the pew. As leaves swirled outside, Alex realized the arc. From declared dead to vitally alive. Betrayal had been the forge. Family's lies, Jordan's flight. Hammering weakness to strength. Romance bloomed not in perfection, but persistence. Deep, human, laced with grace. The truth he'd brought that rainy day? Not just exposure, but emergence. A life reclaimed, loved fiercely, shared generously. In the afterglow, as they drove home, Jordan humming off key, Scout snoring in back. Alex felt it. Wholeness, not ending, but ever unfolding. Human, flawed, profoundly American. A story of rising, loving, enduring. And in that quiet triumph, peace.